Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the lesson 2. Today we are going to see the parents of chemistry. What is chemistry? It's the science of chemics, and this is an important topic of today that you in the future in high school you're going to have it as a class, like a class, the class of chemistry. But today you're going to see a little bit about the story of the parents of chemistry, important inventions about this topic, and who did it. We are going to learn about one inventor from France, very important. His name he born in France is Antoine Lavoisier. Antoine Lavoisier, he born in France, and he was an important inventor about the chemics, right, and chemistry. He did and discovered different things like the elements. He called some elements, and he said that some elements were not elements. In his theory, he did different inventions about chemics. So, as you see in the picture, Antoine Lavoisier discovered some elements. Chemistry is the science of chemical reactions. Chemistry is the class that you're going to have in the future, right? Chemistry is the science of chemical reaction. It looks at how molecules change or stay the same when they are mixed with other molecules. A Frenchman, he was born in France, a Frenchman named Antoine Lavoisier is often called the father of the modern chemistry. Pay attention. Lavoisier lived in France during 17,321 years ago. A lot, right? His contributions to science are some of the greatest ever made. Lavoisier also showed the world how a carefully controlled experiment could answer a scientific question. Pay attention, something important to understand. He was from France. He was an inventor about chemistry. Chemistry, what is chemistry? The science of chemical reaction. When we have a reaction of chemicals, when we mix it, as you see in the picture, when you mix. During his short life, Lavoisier always worked with his colleague. What is a colleague? It's like the assistant, right? It's the helper. And do you know who was the colleague? Who was? His wife, Mary Lavoisier. She helped Antoine, sorry. Antoine is Antonio in French. Antoine. Ah. Planned experiments. Who planned the experiment? Mary, his wife. Antoine planned experiments and record the results they found. Mary was a trained artist, so she also made sketches of the scientific equipment. Antoine designed several of the drawings. Show a couple had a work of him. So they were together. Who's? The wife and the Antoine Lavoisier. So the list of Antoine accomplishments is long, very long. He proved that fire, pay attention, he proved that fire and rust. What does mean rust? Is when one metal is with a color that is like orange, oxidado, right? This is rust. When something is a metal is changing the color. Where, right? So he proven that fire and rust were both examples of oxidation. Pay attention. Or chemical reaction that use oxygen. Antoine also showed that respiration was a form of oxidation inside the living organisms. Aha, the respiration is a form of oxidation. Antoine said that many of the Lavoisier's experiments broke down complex substances into simpler ones. This work led to an amazing discovery. Sooner or later, they always ended up with substances that could not be broken down any further, that Lavoisiers were discovering elements. So in conclusion, the reading said that Antoine discovered the rust and the oxidation about the respiration, and he did discovering about elements. In conclusion, soon, o sea, ya después, Antoine realized that the water was not an element. ¿Cómo así? The water was not an element. He discovered that which was what, because most scientists thought water was actually made of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Who discovered that? Antoine. Antoine also showed that air had a mixture of elements. The air, he showed and discovered about nitrogen and oxygen. The water is a combination of H2O, that is hydrogen and oxygen. And the air is a combination of nitrogen and oxygen. All of this is science, right? In conclusion, Anthony's greatest discovery is or known as the law of conservation of matter. Law of conservation of matter was the Antoine's greatest discovery, proven that elements are not created or destroyed. Very good, very good, very good. And the last part said that after Antoine's death, cuando ella murió, Mary kept their work alive. Oh, and she also shared their research at meetings with other French scientists. Today, Antoine is considered one of the history's greatest scientists. Applause for Antoine Lavoisier. He was an important scientist that discovered the oxidation, the water as element, the air as elements. He studied a lot about the elements. So we have the classwork, and we are going to answer the questions about the classwork. The classwork 2, super easy, right? So we are going to review, and don't forget to write the name of the lines. Always is important. Circle the letters of the best answer below. This is the instruction. Number 1, Antoine knew that water could not or couldn't be an element because, super easy. Option A, it contains both hydrogen and oxygen. Option B, it is a liquid. Option C, it doesn't have any atoms. It can be burned. Why Antoine knew that water could not be an element? Because letter A, it contains both hydrogen and oxygen. This is the answer, right? He discovered this. Number 2, which of the following was not a discovery of Lavoisier? Letter A, the law of the conservation of matter. No, this is true because he invented. So the question is, which one was not a discovery? The elements? No, he know about elements, so it's not correct. Atoms contain protons and electrons. Control experiments are good scientific tools. I think it's that atoms contain protons and electrons. He doesn't discover this, so this is one of the discoveries that he didn't make. Very good. And the last one is write on the lines below, how did Mary use her artistic training in the lab? How she did it, you know. Follow the reading. The next page is that you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. How Mary help him. Remember that Mary was an artist, and you have to read this part. She was an artist, and she helps him because she did something important about when he died. Mary kept their works alive. How she did it? She shared the research in meetings with other scientists, and she did other important information with him because she was a designer, and the drawings that she did with Anthony's, the drawings of the scientific process, she helped with that. So this is the conclusion of the topic of today. I love you. Remember, Antoine Lavoisier. Love you.